this is a conditional universe. This is a limited conditional universe, and we're unconditional beings. And to come in as an unconditional being into a conditional experience is going to be traumatic. It is going to be traumatic. But that trauma is the same trauma a bodybuilder goes through if they want to build up the muscles. So a bodybuilder, if they want to build up muscles, you can't sit on the couch and watch TV with your buddies and want to be a bodybuilder. You have to go to the gym and work these muscles and actually break them down and cause pain to them and let them recallus and break them down if you want to build the physical vehicle as a stronger vehicle. The emotional vehicle is key to having a conscious, experiential encounter with God. Without the emotional body, awareness being strong, we can't have that. The trauma we see ourselves going through and during childhood that imprints us. When we're going through it and looking at it from a time-based paradigm, it looks like something going wrong. But the more we enter present moment awareness, the more we enter this moment and be able to see our lives from how perfect this moment is and how everything brought us to this, we realize that that trauma is the same as building the muscles. When I work through the trauma, when I actually embrace my suffering and I feel the amount of grief and the amount of anger and the amount of fear in my emotional body, the gifts of awareness and perceptive ability I receive from that show me that it's deliberate. And deliberate has the word liberate in it. So from my own experience, I can see that the so-called traumas I went through in the first 7 years of my life that imprinted my emotional body were deliberate. They brought me to this moment. And by overcoming them or moving through them, integrating them.
Now, they were deliberate on your part or deliberate on the part of the community that led you through them?
Not or, and.
Of both.
Yes, and. This is a multidimensional experience. It's an and way. There's a saying that we don't have our own, the scientists will tell us that our DNA is not fully functional. There's a whole lot of junk DNA that's not working, and we only have a certain amount of DNA that's working. And I like the word DNA, and I think if we want to fully activate all our DNA and reach our potential, we have to realize that the word DNA spelled backwards is and.
Okay,
in other words, I am a disciple, and I'm a lover, and I'm a teacher, and I'm a human, and, rather this or that, which creates the separation consciousness and causes me to leave the moment, running away from whatever's going on.
So this is part of the spiritual awakening, is the ability to be in the present moment and have that kind of and consciousness where you're open to everything.
Yes, that was one of the realizations in that defining moment of how much I was intimately part of everything that was happening around me in that moment, and that my perception that I was separate from it in any way happened because I wasn't in the moment to see and feel the connection. You see, the connection to be experienced, that is in the and place, is in the causal place of our experience, which is the emotional body, is the causal place. It's the first place in the pathway of awareness. Then the mental is a radiance of that energy in motion, emotion, and then the physical circumstances are. So you and I can be physically connected, right? I can reach over and touch you, okay? And we're physically connected.
Yes.
Or separate, right?
Yes.
Mentally, you and I can be connected. We can agree.
Yes.
Or disagree. Now we're disconnected mentally. But emotionally, as far as energy in motion, the energy that runs through you and the energy that runs from me is inseparable, whether I'm here, whether I'm in South Africa. So only when I allow my awareness to be anchored in an emotional place and an energy in motion place do I become aware that I'm energetically connected with everything in my world. If my awareness is anchored in a mental place, I can't experience that. You can only be an atheist if you're in the mental body. If you enter the emotional body, you can't say there's no intelligence in this universe, because you can see how everything is connected.
Yes.
So that's the whole thing about the pathway of awareness, is that realizing that when the importance of the heart is when I anchor myself in the heart, in the emotional body, that's when I enter felt perception. I can feel the consequences of my presence in this world, and I tread accordingly. So if I am going to hurt someone, or manipulate someone, I feel the consequences of those thoughts, words, and deeds before I even put them into play.
And this is where conscience comes into play.
And the saying, where there is love, there is no law.
Mm.
When I'm functioning from felt perception, no one has to tell me how to behave. My own heart gives me an instant feedback of my intentions. But if I'm in a mental place, I can justify any behavior.
Yes.
I can justify manipulating someone to get a certain profit out of them because I can't feel the consequences.
Which is pretty much a good characterization of the world we live in. Is it's very much driven by information and thinking.
Yes, we are majority of us are anchored either in the physical. So we are very physically transfixed by the physical world.
Mm-hmm.
We believe that the world of form is the causal point and we identify completely with it. If we gain a little bit more awareness, in other words, we're moving backwards along that pathway of awareness, we may interact with the world more mentally and be philosophical and be able to discuss and have understandings about things. And then a greater awareness is when we move into the emotional body and start to perceive the world from that point. The closer we get to the emotional body, the more aware we become, and the more we become aware of our connection. The condition that we have been in for a long time on this planet is that we have been, first of all, we were in physical body awareness only for thousands of years. That's the phase, you know?
Right.
And
Caveman.
then, yeah, absolutely. And then and that was for a long period, okay? And then we entered the mental body because as a species, we are going backwards along the pathway of awareness because we are evolving. So then we went into the mental machine, okay? Tools, technology, for the last 100 years, complete,
right.
Okay, mental, no feeling about it. It's just, I can justify it by mentally, And now what's happened is we're moving into the emotional. So that is the experience humanity is being invited into now, because the invitation is going to come at some point for us to enter the vibrational. In other words, to be in this world, but not of it. And that, in order to accomplish that, we need a powerful physical vehicle to hold a consciousness which is actually unlimited in a mortal, limited vehicle. We need a powerful mental body as a tool of navigation, not thinking and analysis. There's nothing to think about when you're in the present moment. And a powerful emotional body, because emotional body is energy in motion. It's the fuel source of our experience. So that's why they say if you pray and there's no feeling, forget it. There's no prayer. It's the fuel source. It's what moves things. So and all of that is coming so that we can have a vibrational experience while we're here. But we need to have the vehicle in place, the navigation system in place, the fuel system in place, so that this consciousness can be in this limited world, but also have an unlimited awareness. Imagine a world of that, because the unlimited awareness is what we call no order of difficulty or miracle consciousness, where there's no order of difficulty. If I go to a doctor and I have a cold, or if I have cancer, he will treat me differently.
Yes.
If I have because he functions from a no order of difficulty. But the vibrational or the spiritual created this cup, created our bodies, created all this technology, created everything. What is there in order of difficulty for that which can create everything? That's where we want to be connected, in that place, being here but connected in that place. What are the consequences of a being that truly functions from no order of difficulty? And I feel that is what evolution is moving us to that level of experience.
So you're talking about simplicity.
Well, I'm talking about being able to move mountains. But when we get to the place of being able to move mountains, knowing that the mountains are in the right place. So it's a paradoxical place, because you gain all this connection with the source of everything, but it's also the erosion of your will to allow things to be as they are.
Yes.
It's a simultaneous...
And that's also part of spiritual awakening.
It's part of what spiritual awakening is about.
That there's no destination to get to.
If what we call God is an infinite being, then surely the journey of God realization must be an infinite one.